Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video where I talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Episode 3 just dropped, and I actually really liked it. I thought it was much better than the first two episodes. First two episodes I liked. I thought they were good for the most part, but they weren't great. I thought this one was actually a really good episode and one of the best episodes of any of the Disney Plus shows we've had so far. I thought the pacing was really well done. I thought what they did with Obi-Wan was really cool. I thought most of the episodes were good. There's a few things I didn't like, but for the most part, I thought it was a pretty good episode, and I enjoyed it. It just kind of sucks that we're halfway through the show already. That's one of the things about these Disney Plus shows that annoys me. It's like 3 episodes in, and it's like, oh, we're halfway through the season so far. But at least this was a long episode as well, because that was one of the things that annoyed me about Moon Knight was it was like, oh, here's a 30-minute episode, here's a 50-minute episode, now we're back to 30-minute episode. This one was like 48 minutes or something like that, so it's cool that we haven't had an episode under 40 minutes so far. I'm excited. I'm happy about that, and I hope the show continues that. I want long episodes. Anyways, let's get into it. Spoilers, if you have not seen it, there's your warning. Let's get into it. We see the Inquisitors at the castle. There's a bit of a quarrel between Third Sister and the other Inquisitor. I can't be bothered to know the Inquisitors' names because I just think the Inquisitors are so lame. I've always thought they are. Grand Inquisitor was the only one that ever really kind of interested me, and Trilla in Fallen Order. But other than that, like, I think the Inquisitors are so lame. So they have their like little spat about like who does Vader like more, and we see Vader talk to Third Sister and tell her that, you know, if she actually succeeds here, then he will make her Grand Inquisitor. Considering we know that Grand Inquisitor is Grand Inquisitor throughout Rebels, we know that she does not succeed. Doesn't necessarily mean she dies, even though Vader tells her basically she won't live to regret it. We know that that she's not going to become Grand Inquisitor. Then we see we see Leia and Obi-Wan on a new planet, and I actually like this. We get a new planet. So much of Disney Star Wars is either just rehashing the old planets or having a new planet that is totally not the old planet but looks the exact same. It's like, here's Jakku. It's definitely not Tatooine. It's definitely not Tatooine. Like, they do that a lot. But this is actually like a new looking planet. We haven't really seen a planet like this in the live action yet. So I was like, oh, cool. I'm happy about that. I'm happy we get to see a planet that actually looks different. I was excited about that. I liked most of the stuff with Obi-Wan in this episode. I thought pretty much everything with Obi-Wan was good. It's just every time they switch to the Inquisitors, it's like, man, I could literally not care less about all this stuff that's going on. Thankfully, they sparingly go to the Inquisitors. There's not a whole lot of them. It's like when they do go to them, it's Third Sister being like, oh man, I'm so headstrong and insubordinate, and then it's the like mushroom head guy whispering, being like, oh, I'm so passive aggressive. And it's like, that's it. And it's like, I do not care about your drama. I don't care about your drama at all. One of the things I didn't like as far as Obi-Wan Leia goes, though, is the fact that Obi-Wan kind of just follows Leia around, listens to whatever she says. It's like, Obi-Wan is used to dealing with annoying Skywalkers that don't like following rules. He's used to it. And this is a 10-year-old child. He should not just be following her around and like following her lead and letting her do whatever. Like, it makes sense for Leia to like be doing this stuff, but it does not make sense for Obi-Wan to be letting her. Obi-Wan be like, no, I am the seasoned warrior. You are a 10-year-old child that got kidnapped. You are listening to me. Like, he kind of tells her some things, and then she just like ignores him. And he's like, oh well, whatever. It's that stuff's kind of stupid. Also, Leia's a bit too smart in this. Like, she is supposed to be a 10-year-old girl. Like, Leia, obviously, we know, grows up to be a very smart individual. But as a 10-year-old child, you can only be so smart. Like, there's some things where I'm not the biggest fan of her knowing pretty much everything. I feel like she shouldn't be able to be as smart as she is currently as a 10-year-old child. It was cool seeing stormtroopers. I thought I just like the way stormtroopers look. So every time you get to see them, it's like, oh, they look awesome. Like, I love the stormtroopers designs. And yeah, I like that whole bit where they're going through with that one guy, and then we have the sequence at the checkpoint where Obi-Wan fights them all with his blaster. That was cool. And then we see that one spy that helps them out. I liked her character. That new spy lady, I liked her character. I thought she was cool. Played by the woman from Game of Thrones that was, I believe, Pedro Pascal's wife in that, and the mother of those two girls. So, because when I was watching it, me and Ian were like, who is that? And we're like, oh yeah, it's the lady from Game of Thrones. I liked her helping them out. I thought that was cool seeing that. And the robot with the hammer that was just waiting for him to just wreck house. And then we get some backstory of like how they've smuggled Jedis and other people through there. And then Vader shows up. Like, as soon as Obi-Wan, like, gets this, like, his heart sunken feeling, I was like, that's Vader. I know Vader's there. I know he is there. And it was so cool seeing that, seeing Vader show up and just start terrorizing people to bring Obi-Wan out. I like that. He's literally just does not care, just breaks that one dude's neck. It's just Vader. He's doing whatever he wants. He knows Obi-Wan's there. He's going to get to Obi-Wan. Now, like I said before, I'm not a fan of Obi-Wan and Vader meeting before A New Hope. I think it's stupid, but I had to reconcile with that before the show even came out because we knew it was going to happen. So I'm past that now. I do think it's dumb, but whatever. I'm past that now. And yeah, so we get to this point where Vader's in that village and we have Obi-Wan, Leia, and then the I can't remember her name, the spy lady. And Obi-Wan just is basically like, hey, I'm going to go distract him. You take Leia, get her safe to safety. I told her, you know, I'd help her father return her home. Because he knows that if he is with Vader, then Vader's going to do nothing but go after them. So it's smart to divert Vader. Like, it makes sense. Because otherwise, Obi-Wan's essentially dooming them if he goes with them. So I like that. He goes, he lures Vader away, and then we get them actually meeting. And I like that when they first meet, Obi-Wan knows that he's not the Jedi he once was. And he knows that Vader is not Anakin. He knows that Vader is not, you know, this just hot-headed kid. He knows he's different now. He knows they are both very different than where they were before. So he doesn't just, you know, confront him. He's like, yeah, it's better if I run. Like, he sees him ignite his lightsaber, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna head out, you know. I'm not gonna be here. I like the use of, like, the lightsaber to illuminate their faces and everything and lighting. I thought that looked cool. We only get a few lines, which is Vader says something along the lines of, like, I am what you made me. I thought that was a fine line. Like, I didn't have any problems with it. It makes sense because, you know, he failed him. He failed Anakin. He even admitted that. He cut all his limbs off. So he is essentially what Obi-Wan made him. Now, what was annoying during this is they kept cutting to Third Sister during all this, and I could not care less again about what she is doing. Like, they just cut back to her chasing Leia and the spy, and it's like, I don't care, go back to Obi-Wan and Vader. It really sucks when you have something incredibly interesting happening on one end, and they keep cutting to something that's not interesting at all. Like, Vader and Obi-Wan seeing each other for the first time since Revenge of the Sith is very interesting and compelling, and I want to see how that plays out. I want to see what happens. I know, you know, none of them is going to die, because obviously, but with Third Sister and Leia, it's like, we know Leia gets away and is fine, and I don't care about those characters other than Leia, and I only care about Leia because it's Leia, so, like, do not show me that right now. I do not care about that. But seeing Vader just absolutely destroying Obi-Wan, like, you knew that was going to happen. Obi-Wan's not in a place to be fighting Vader. I thought it was pretty cool. It wasn't anything, like, amazing. It wasn't like, oh, man, this is mind-blowing stuff. But it was a good first confrontation, seeing Obi-Wan being very defensive and just trying to get away, and just being like, yeah, I'm not in a place to fight him. We also get Third Sister, like, seeing the Jedi symbol and freaking out, which I don't care. I don't care about this character. When she sees the symbol in the room, she's like, goes just crazy. And it's like, oh, gets all upset. It's like, I don't care. I know she was, you know, one of the younglings in Order 66 flashback from the first episode, but I do not care. We then have Vader just pick Obi-Wan up and start choking him and then throw him in some fire, which he ignites. He ignites some, like, burning hot coals or whatever, space coals, and then just burns Obi-Wan on there. And then it's like, okay, take him. And it tells the stormtroopers to take him because he wants to torture him further and do many number of things to Obi-Wan. This is just the beginning. And then that one lady, I thought it was stupid that she left Obi-Wan, that she left to help Obi-Wan, because Leia is like, go help him, and she's like, okay. So she goes to help him, and it's like, but you promised Obi-Wan that you would, like, you have no allegiance to Obi-Wan. It makes no sense for you to want to help Obi-Wan. You promised that you would help save this child. Like, I don't understand. Like, that part was kind of dumb for her to go help Obi-Wan just randomly for no reason. But she ends up helping Obi-Wan by relighting the coals on fire. This part is a little bit of a plot hole because, so Vader, like, dumps all these coals, sets them on fire, burns Obi-Wan for a bit, throws Obi-Wan off, and then turns the fire off just with the Force. And then the lady causes an explosion and relights the fire, and then Vader's like, I can't put the fire out now. Which, I get the flames are bigger and they were caused by an explosion this time, so I guess that's it instead of Vader's lightsaber, so he couldn't put them out. So it's a bit of a plot hole, but I guess it's just big flames mean Vader can't put them out. But whatever, it is what it is. Overall, I did really enjoy this episode. I was intrigued throughout. I thought the pacing was really well done, and I thought it was a good episode, much better than the first two episodes. Like, the first two episodes were good. Like, if I had to rate on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give the first two episodes probably like a 7, about a 7. This one I'd give closer to an 8. I thought this one was pretty good. Like I said, my only real gripes were like Leia being too smart and Obi-Wan kind of following her lead. And then every time they cut to the Inquisitors. But everything else about the episode I genuinely enjoyed, and I like how Vader was portrayed, and I'm excited to see what happens next, but it sucks that we're halfway through. I have my podcast Nerd Talk where we've been covering each episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi on there. It'll be linked in the description. It's called Nerd Talk. You can listen to it on Spotify, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts. All that is linked below. We're covering every single episode. Me and my brother are covering it more in depth than I am in these videos. So if you want to listen to that, again, link in the description. Go check it out. And I want to hear from you guys down below. What did you guys think of this episode? What do you think Kenobi so far? Because I've seen so many mixed things as far as the first two episodes go. I saw a lot of people being like, oh, it was cool. A lot of people being like, it sucked, it's horrible. So I see people being all over the place on the show, so I'm curious what you guys think of episode 3. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later.